In the heart of a forgotten town, hidden by a dense forest, there stood an abandoned school. The townsfolk whispered tales of eerie happenings and ghostly apparitions that haunted the halls of St. Mary's School for Girls. No one dared to enter, especially after sunset, when the silence seemed to breathe and shadows danced on their own. The story begins with Emily, a curious teenager from the nearby town, who was always drawn to the mysteries of the old school. Despite warnings from her friends and family, she decided to explore it, believing the tales were nothing more than superstitions. One crisp autumn evening, with the sun dipping below the horizon, Emily set out for the school. Armed with a flashlight and her phone, she made her way through the forest, feeling an unsettling chill as she approached the entrance. The massive iron gates creaked open, almost as if they were welcoming her. She hesitated but took a deep breath and stepped inside. The interior was as one would expect: dusty desks, broken windows, and faded murals that once depicted cheerful scenes now seemed grotesque in the dim light. Emily's footsteps echoed through the empty hallways, each step amplifying her growing unease. She wandered into the main hall, where an old grand piano sat in the corner, untouched for decades. As she approached it, the temperature dropped sharply. Her breath became visible, and she felt a presence behind her. Whipping around, she saw nothing but shadows. Emily shook off the feeling and continued her exploration. As she moved deeper into the school, she came across the library, a vast room filled with decaying books. An old, dusty diary caught her eye. She picked it up, opened the cover, and began to read. The diary belonged to a girl named Margaret, a student at St. Mary's. The entries started innocently enough, but soon took a darker turn. Margaret wrote about strange noises, flickering lights, and a sinister figure she called the Watcher that seemed to follow her every move. The last chills down Emily's spine. He's here. I can feel him watching. If you find this, please leave and never come back. A sudden noise broke Emily's concentration. It was the piano, playing a haunting melody by itself. Heart pounding, she turned towards the sound, her flashlight flickering. The beam of light caught a shadowy figure standing by the piano. Emily froze, unable to move or scream. The figure stepped forward, revealing itself as a young girl in an old-fashioned school uniform. Her eyes were hollow, her face pale and sorrowful. She pointed towards the door, silently urging Emily to leave. Emily, terrified, took a step back, but the girl vanished as quickly as she appeared. Panicked, Emily ran towards the exit. The hallway seemed to stretch endlessly, the doors multiplying. She could hear footsteps behind her, faster and faster, echoing her own. Desperate, she ducked into a classroom and hid under a desk, trying to calm her ragged breathing. The footsteps stopped just outside the door. Emily's flashlight flickered and died, plunging her into darkness. She could hear whispers, incoherent and chilling, filling the room. Summoning all her courage, she peeked out from under the desk. The door was ajar, and a dark figure stood there, motionless. Suddenly, the figure rushed towards her, and Emily screamed. In a flash, everything went black. When she woke, it was morning. She was lying outside the school gates, her flashlight and phone beside her. Shaken but unharmed, Emily stood up, feeling the weight of unseen eyes on her. She turned towards the school one last time. The iron gates were closed, and the air was eerily still. Emily never spoke of her night in the school again. She couldn't shake the feeling that something had followed her back. Every now and then, she would see a shadow move in the corner of her eye or hear a soft whisper when she was alone. The Watcher, it seemed, had found a new target. And so, the legend of the silent school continued, with a new chapter written in whispers and shadows, waiting for the next curious soul to venture into its haunted halls.